Hello, everyone, and good evening, and welcome to Animal Advocates Radio Voices Carry for Animals, number 511 shows this evening and counting. I want to welcome all you aboard, all you new listeners. I hope you enjoy the show and keep coming back. And all you returning listeners, it's great to have you keep coming back and keep spreading the word. And I appreciate all of you because all of the former guests and the callers have made it a total success on this podcast. From there's 511 shows this evening, and we're going to keep going. And I want to just go over a couple things here. I'm going to. My name is Debbie Dahmer, aka Mama Bear, and Mama Bear does care because she's on the air. And I'm just going to go over a couple of things here. I want to welcome all you listeners listening from Podbean Podcast Web out there. If you would like to join us in the chat room, the live chat room on the Podbean Podcast app, you're more than welcome to come on board. And 1 second, Melissa. Oh, you made it. She made it. Yes.
Oh,
but
yeah.
yeah, this is great. But anyway, if you're on the web, you can just go over and install free from Google Play or the App Store and install it. And then you're going to search for Voices Carry for Animals podcast, follow it, and you're in. And then you can join us here in the chat room. You can share the show right from the live chat room. You can press the like. And it is awesome. This chat room is awesome. This is Podbean Podcast app live stream, and we're going live, and all the shows after will be downloaded, edited, and published, and you can listen and share 24/7. It's hitting two YouTube channels and also 28 other podcast platforms with Spotify, iHeartRadio, podserve.fm. It's going to be on Podbean. This list is huge. Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast. Um, and I have a whole list of them, and all the shows, even on the app, the former on-demand episodes is on all of them. Okay, so you could go back and share them and listen to them at your convenience whenever it's good. And I want to say hello to everybody that's entering the live chat room. Hey, Darla, and my mother, Pat Dahmer, aka Moose, is another name for mom. And Mama Cat's here with us this evening too. She's awesome. She was the guest last week, Ray Bittner, for Community Cats United, in another great show. She has been on several times, and she gives me all her stories. I call her my tag team because we always multitask, and help each other out. And she comes in the shows. And Darla, hello, Darla. And but anyway, you are all these shows. Like I said, you can are archived and listen and share 24/7. And a big thank you and a shout out to everyone that's helping me promote these shows every Thursday. Fans of animal rights on Facebook, the followers that's involved, and the Facebook friends, and the Voices Carry for Animals podcast Facebook page, the Voices Carry for Animals support group on Facebook, Animal Advocates United on the group on Facebook. A big thank you to all them. LinkedIn, who I'm connected with them, sharing the show from there. And also on X, I have a Voices Care for Animals podcast page on there. Follow, and also my personal page. But this list is huge who give me their support every Thursday. I tag a lot of people, and this will be being shared all through the weekend because I get notifications, but they're all archived, so that's a good thing. But anyway, hello, Doreen. Welcome to Voices Carry for Animals podcast chat room. We are going live stream on Podbean podcast app, everyone. So if you're on the web listen, can't thank you enough for tuning in. You want to join us? We are live here, and we're going to. You can interact with the other listeners and also speak to the guests. And the ones that if you have, on your phone, your laptop, tablet, iPad. You could download it on there also. Just like I said, go to Google Chrome, or I'm sorry, Google Play, or the App Store, install it, and then search for Voices Carry for Animals podcast. Follow, and you're in, and you will get notifications every Thursday. All followers that the show is starting up, and press the link, join us, and you'll be in the live chat room, and you can go from there. But you can share, and the more likes and everything I get everyone, the better it is, and this podcast moves up. But I'm going to be bringing my guest on. It's her first time, and I want to welcome her aboard. She's out there working hard. I've been talking to her the last couple of days, and I want to, she's the founder of the Great Lakes Wildlife Alliance, and our topics is going to be help stop wildlife killing contest in Wisconsin, updates on wolf protection and federal legislation, bear hunting issues, and wildlife advocacy. So we're going to have another great show, everyone, and I want to welcome her aboard. Hey, Melissa, how are you this evening? Welcome aboard. This is great.
Yeah, this is my first time on this app, and I think I just liked myself, so that feels good.
Where's the like it? I'll like you too, okay?
Uh, but, like chapter 500 show, she was running out of people, so she's like, I guess we'll have Melissa on the show.
No, you're very important too. You're all you're doing, oh, and a great voice out there, and the hard work you do, inspiring and uplifting. It's great. I just so glad to have you on. And if you want
Yes,
to tell the audience how a little bit about yourself, how you got started, how long, and we could go from there. Okay, go
sure,
right
sure.
ahead. You're live and on the air.
I've always been, even from the time I was really little, just always kind of preferred animals to people. All my little stuffed animals, and I was always up getting in trouble in something, but it always had to do with animals, either bringing home a stray dog and hiding it in the garage, or, those tent caterpillars. I put some of those in a drawer and went on to my grandma's house, and then you can imagine what happened when those hatched. My mom loved that. I was always getting in trouble, but it was always with animals. And I think, uh, what I've always loved wildlife because they're kind of just my superheroes. Think how fast a peregrine falcon can dive. I mean, and we make these superheroes when they're around. Um, observing them, even just knowing that they're out there living. And how I got started is I was at a farmer's market, believe it or not. And that's why outreach is so important. And I picked up a pamphlet, and there was a picture of a fox in a foothold trap. And I was like, I'm just justice oriented. And I said, well, this has to stop. And then, my parents were probably like, oh no. But they would drive me to things. I remember protesting donkey basketball in high school. Always been that way. So, and then I went to college and I studied sociology, which is really what you want to study if you want to look at wildlife and any wildlife conflict or management or anything, because we don't really have an animal problem. We have a people problem, right? Most of the
Right.
time.
Most of the
So,
time, human beings are the roots to all problems. We can't deny that one, right? It is the way
well,
it is.
it's me and you, obviously.
Yep.
But yeah, and it is, it's, about tolerance and these things. And, and as much as I've learned going through, I mean, I do, occasionally sue the government, but other than that is not, is building tolerance. But, I wanted, I guess we talked about this step. I don't, sorry if I'm rattling on, but, is getting at the root cause of these things. And that's hard to do, right? It's because there's so many egregious things happening. But they're really symptoms of a problem, and as a systemic problem, and that is these wildlife agencies that decide. So I mean, but when I see something like that, that we don't have a voice in these agencies, and we can talk about any state here, but I really am pushing for being a number one, a watchdog organization, and that we are working very hard towards democracy, transparency, and accountability. And I think probably every group is working on that now. But the party line doesn't matter. It's very difficult, and truly within these wildlife agencies, it is taxation without representation. It truly
Hmm.
is. And so I don't know. I can pause there. Damn, I kind of just dove right into it. I'm like, okay, everybody, here's who I am. This is what we're doing. But
Right, and you got your goal setting, you're setting and everything up. And I was checking out your website, and thanks for putting this podcast on your website today. You did a great job. I
uh,
even shared it on my timeline and the groups I admin on, and everything. And give the audience your website address. That way they can check it out.
sure,
And please, everyone, check it out because it's so very informative how you can help out, take action, because these wildlife, they deserve to share this earth with us just like we do. We're all on this earth temporarily, make the best of it. And they have to have their animal rights granted, not violated. We got to fight for them. Just like the rest of them, because they so well deserve. Let them live in peace and freedom, because it's not easy living out there in the wild. They
no,
go
and
through all kind of weather conditions. They have the hunters are out there, and it's sad and it's heartbreaking. What their lives are. Just sadness. I know, Melissa, December 3rd through December 28th here in Florida, they had a bear hunt, and it was
yeah,
so sad. And I mean, Bear Warriors United was fighting for them. Bear Defenders. I mean, Speak Up Wikivia. I had all of them on the show. And it still went through. And they said three of them they called harvested. Okay, but there was
right.
52 bears killed. I don't believe that. I think there was more than that. How are they keeping track of it when there was no weigh stations or nothing like that? So and it's a sad part. It's like, why can't they leave the animals alone? Is it that difficult to do? Have a heart, put a little love in your heart, and do your
Yeah,
part.
I think
And
what they all don't say
yeah,
is they're also doing lethal control. So if there are problem bears, a hunt just doesn't target a problem bear, but they use that line. I mean, it's not only that hunt, but also in addition to any animals that are lethally removed because of conflict. So that that can add up quickly.
oh yeah, and the sad part is, they're not supposed to be living in fear, and they're supposed to be living in freedom, away from anxiety and at peace. And with the mama bears out there, with their cubs. I mean, it's just so disgusting what was going on. And then they're going to
Right.
have a pass where you can now up to six dogs and to kill the bears, and that is terrible. It's disgusting. That's animal cruelty front lines. And it needs to be stopped. Let them live in freedom. I know Florida's getting a lot of people out. There's a lot of developers, and the FWC was mostly made up of developers and hunters. So the Bears didn't stand a chance on this five out of the seven votes that voted for it. Isn't that
Right.
sickening? I mean,
Well, and
that's
that
not fair. That's injustice.
exactly, and
Yes.
that's. I mean, I pulled these statistics that we wanted to talk about that since you're in Florida somewhere. I don't know, somewhere between Miami and Tallahassee. But, but 80,
You were too.
this.
Hey,
Oh yeah,
there's a Yeehaw Junction, Florida, right? And I go, where did they get that name at? Yeehaw Junction, Florida. Yeehaw Junction, where the people don't function.
I was like, where do you? Oh my
But
god,
there
no.
is, isn't that something? I
But
couldn't believe it.
Florida. And I think first, 81% of everyone in Florida, Floridians, 81% oppose that hunt. 81%. But despite this,
Yes.
they move
Yep.
forward with these planned hunts. And then you've got the methods, or potentially, I'm not going to hurt anybody's feelings tonight, but methods like baiting, Wisconsin, and I'll tie it into Wisconsin. That's opposed by 86% of Floridians. 89% of Floridians oppose hound hunting. So why is this happening? Why is it going forward? Like, why then, that we're antis, we're anti-hunters. Like, no, that we believe that you're not doing enough public education for conflict, but they use a lot of conflicting data. So, while public surveys might show, let's say, high opposition, industry will indicate that, only 60% of residents now support management. Well, they use those words, those euphemisms, those semantics. Well, yeah, all of us want management of bears if they get in trouble, or if they, hazing. I mean, that's all management. Management but they use it as hunting. So they use these words to try to, you know, get a significant divide between public sentiment. But it's not true. I mean, of everything, all the issues we're facing today, if it's immigration, whatever that is, red or blue, the highest thing that we are all connected to is that essentially 79% of Republicans and closer to 90% of Democrats support animal rights and welfare. We all do. We all do
Right.
this. Something that really isn't partisan. It's just about. So I mean, I guess why is that? Why is that? And it's the same here in Wisconsin. So, we had a wolf hunt. They used dogs. The bear hunters used dogs, and they killed
Mm.
200 wolves in 60 hours. The snowmobiles and dogs,
Whoa.
every gadget you could, right fresh off the endangered species list. And they're the same. That it's that same thing with bait. But any methods that if they used on deer, well, maybe they would use it on deer. But I think most at any time ethical hunter, that's not who we're talking about. That population of guys is shrinking.
Yep. And the sad part is, we got to get stronger here, everyone, and help these wildlife out. That's the main thing. Because Mama Cat always says that it's on Community Cats United, strength in numbers. And that is so true. The more of us
Yeah,
come together, the stronger we become and use our voices. Because being silent is no solution for changes, right? I mean, we have to speak out, everyone. Don't ever think that your voice does not matter or your actions, because they do. That's
absolutely.
what we got to do, and let us be heard, because we are the animals' only hope to carry on better lives and futures from
Yeah,
every angle.
yeah,
So do your part. To just help us out, because we can't, like I said, I can't do it alone. I do my best, but it takes
right.
teamwork all the way, Melissa, all the way. And I believe in teamwork all the way. You're talking 511 shows this evening, and I'm
Yeah,
going to keep going until my last breath. All right, because I'm on this podcast, and it's not the only thing that I do. I help out where I can. I
yeah,
have the groups and the pages on that I help admin on Facebook and X and LinkedIn. I don't give up. I'm relentless. I'm optimistic and proactive. I don't let nothing get me down. I keep going. I get stronger and stronger. And try to keep bringing other ones, recruit them in. Hey, come on, help us out. That's what we need. We need,
certainly.
yes, yes.
I
And,
don't.
and what you're doing is great too. You're
Well, I don't want any.
awesome.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
because we're crazy people. So you know,
You're crazy
but
people. Come on, not us.
but For the people that don't feel particularly resilient, I understand that. I mean, I have my times where, I have to close the laptop and cry. I get it. I totally get it. And it feels, things are unfair and it feels we are making progress, just not as maybe as fast as we want to, right? Like, so, I don't know how many of your viewers are from Florida. Maybe in the chat you can say what states you're from, but um, that's what this is. I mean, here in Wisconsin, next week, in front of the Natural Resource Board, is our bear quota. We take about 4,500 bears every year in Wisconsin.
4,500?
4,500.
Whoa.
So, and
Mm.
we have a training season. Essentially, that is we have baiting that's open from April to September, which is crazy. Um, and because they train all these dogs up here, I guarantee you that the people in Florida are coming up here and training their dogs because we have no regulations. You don't even have to have a hunting license. So they chase these bears
Whoa.
in the
Oh
heat.
my goodness. No
And
hunting license?
you don't not for training. So you don't even have to have a
Mm.
future. So there's a lot of well, it's so connected. I don't even. How long do you guys want to be on tonight till 1 o'clock in the morning? No, but let's
Hey,
talk
we
about
could.
everything.
I mean, hey, we have so many issues. We could be on till 1 in the morning.
And
you
Wisconsin is
know.
bad. Yeah, and it is actually our bear hunters that really drive policy here. And you wouldn't think that this tiny little group, just like in Florida, would have so much power, but they do. And so we'll go into why that is later. But with Wisconsin, I mean, it's just unregulated. So what they're doing is baiting in these bears so they know where these big bears are, and lots and lots of dogs die. These hounds die. They're not treated well, and wild animals die. And imagine being chased. And this is a long time. These dogs are not with their owners. Their owners are sitting in trucks looking at electronic GPS, and private property, a whole plethora of problems with these dogs. Not to mention, then they end up abandoned in humane societies. But in Wisconsin, this is really, I hope that you all get very angry. So angry right now. We have
Okay.
wolves in Wisconsin too, and they share these same places. And these are public lands, these are our national and state forests. Wolves, at the time that they're training on these bears, have pups, right? And so they have something called like a rendezvous site. After they leave the den, they go and that's where everybody meets up to be like, hey, what are we doing tonight? Like, are we going clubbing? What are we gonna, deer hunting? What are we gonna do? So the the wolves meet up here with their pups, and these dogs come tearing through. And what are wolves going to do? Are they going to protect their young? We all know that, right? Or they're all going to do it. Black bears don't actually turn. Mama bears are if cornered, but mama sends her cubs up a tree and she takes off and gets those dogs to chase her. They get separated. But anyway, back to wolves. They kill these dogs, and they're incredibly tolerant, really. But that is our biggest conflict. We don't really have conflict with farmers. We've had wolves on the landscape a long time. When we do have the conflicts, they just want it to end, and it usually has to do with carcass disposal. Occasionally, there'll be a pack that's up to no good and naughty, and we know how to deal with that. But these dogs come through. We pay the hunters $2,500 per dog if they get killed.
Mm.
80% of those people are repeat offenders. And they're warning, they put up warnings saying like, don't hunt in this area. But there are 14,000 dogs on the landscape during the summer. And
Mm.
so I mean, we paid over 2 million, like almost $2 million in, no offense, I'm a dog lover too, but in dead dogs. Imagine if we all took, we all took our dogs on the interstate. We're like, oh, I'm going to walk my dogs. And then they were hit by a semi truck. Would I go to the Department of Transportation and get $2,500? That's essentially what they're doing. So they've got quite a stranglehold, and they are the tiny minority, just like in Florida. They're the same guys, and that's the problem. Why is the wildlife agency? Why are they beholden to these things when they know the rest of us are like, hey, you know what? We believe in decency. We believe in in not being cruel, and they're also the ones that I'm just kind of jumping around. So don't stop me, Deb. But I think a lot of people don't know that wildlife are exempt from cruelty laws in all 50 states. So if somebody,
Mm.
you guys know about Cody Roberts, and let's not get that was very disturbing for me. But
Oh
you will get
yes, that
you'll get a
was
citation. Yeah, yeah, awful.
sickening.
Yeah,
Very
I'm not
sickening.
going into that
No
next. But
excuse for it.
no. no. So that yeah, so Cody Roberts. He ran over a wolf with a snowmobile. He taped its mouth with duct tape, put it on the snowmobile alive, took it home, took a nap, let his dogs fight that. Then woke up, decided to go to the local bar, took the wolf with him. Everybody's taking pictures. This is a wild wolf, and waited and just exploited this poor animal. And then at the end, killed it. He got a $200 fine
Mm. Slap
because that.
on the wrist.
What if that was a golden retriever?
Psh.
But I mean,
Oh my goodness.
stuff, and it is legal to run over wolves with snowmobiles for hunting. I mean, it's just so absurd because we don't have any protection in wildlife cruelty laws, and that is, for poaching is barely enforced. Everything's awful, you guys. It's not. It's not.
Mm.
It's positive change, but
Whoa.
that's something that we could all accomplish. I think when looking at the numbers of people here, Republican or Democrat, that love animals and even wild animals, I think if, let's say, and I'm sorry to say this, but if this were people, urban people who lived in the city, and these were pit bull dogs, they would be kicking the door in. But because it's not, and it's like rural folks with these hounds, they get to get away with all this. Um, I guess let's go through all the bad stuff so we can go through all the good stuff. But they do this to coyotes here, bobcats. I mean, they're just running these dogs everywhere and just running over people's property. And we put out a white paper showing what these animals look like when when they're done hunting them, and it's not pretty. And I'm not going to go into that because she'll never invite me back. I'll never podcast. But that it really is cruel, but people don't know about it. And that's one of the things I don't even like to have to tell people about it because it's upsetting. It upsets me. And
Right.
what is that
Mm.
reason? Well, Wisconsin Bear Hunters Association is the NRA affiliate in our state. So they have that power behind them. They have big powered lobbyists, and they're they know they can use the wolf and make these animals super scary and will stop conflict, which is not true. The science says that actually a generalized hunt doesn't do anything to get an offending animal. I mean, and let's say there's one kid in a school, bring out everybody in the school, and then you just start picking random kids. But what if you don't get the kid that's being naughty? And that's basically what happens. So with that, then it really is, and I have to say it. I mean, Second Amendment, that's fine. I believe you have the right. That's not what I'm talking about. They have this power behind them that we don't have, and that is why it's one side or the other. It's corrupt. And one thing we can do is they're losing hunters, but there's a tax on I don't can you say that word? I think it's on guns and like fishing lures, and that little tax pays for conservation about 29%. But guess what? Most gun owners are not hunters. So you are paying for conservation, but they take that on their own. I'm gonna stop there. Just give myself a sip of water. But I don't know, does that make sense to everybody? I'm kind of just jumping around.
No, that's all right because all that's important, in bringing the awareness and waking people up. What's really
Right.
going on behind the scenes, and these animals, they can't speak out for themselves. They're totally defenseless and helpless voices, so we have to know and not close our eyes and look the other way or sweep it under the carpet. Their lives are only this crazy place called Earth is only temporary for all of us, Melissa. We got to make the
Yeah.
best of it and do what's right, not what's wrong. So get out there and do what you can do to help out for these animals because hey, the more of us come together, the stronger we become and let our voices heard. And see those victories because they do come through. I love it when the victories come through. Do
Yep.
the happy dance, the victory dance. And if I wasn't involved, I love seeing them. If I was, I said, "Hey, I'm doing this podcast. Can't take credit, but I am involved." So and I look at it and I say, "Hey, it takes a human chain reaction to take action, right?" And
Yep. That's right.
that's where it takes.
Yep.
So that's and everyone, all the listeners out there. If we are silent, and let's say if I have these podcast shows every Thursday, and you just listen and don't take actions, it's the same as not listening, because you're not taking action, right? I mean, you're making yourself aware, but you want to make things better and be a positive impact. Take your anger into action, you know, take your
And I do.
voice into action because it does matter, out there because, with I don't care if it's petitions or making phone calls to your legislators, it doesn't get much no easier than sitting at the comfort of your home, your phone, your computer, your copier, fax, or whatever, and help make changes in this world. It
And
doesn't
yeah,
get no easier, right? Think about it. The work that we
it is.
do.
People don't
Yeah,
realize the power that you have. You really do. Yes, we need numbers, but there's things that are connected. So if you're like, well, I'm going to go to the Natural Resource Board and I'm going to comment, and they're going to ignore me like they always do. But now we have, okay, 20 people commented no, and one person commented yes, but they voted with the yes person. That helps in litigation later. So a lot of things are connected. But you know what? Also, not everybody protests or acts the same way. Just telling your story about why you like animals and wildlife, and getting people impassioned about that. Now, like I said, I'm justice oriented, so I'm always like, oh, I want to show people these like horrible horrible images so they know like what I'm dealing with watching these, and that this is what really happens. But that's
right.
not always
No, that's
effective.
not easy. That is
No,
not easy because you're on front lines with it. You see more than anybody else out there, most likely, and what goes on behind the scenes, behind closed doors, and for a fact, so they have to listen to you, because and learn by it and open their eyes of this cruelty going on, and these killing contests. That is so injustice and unfair to these animals. How could you kill an animal and then get money for it, okay, and be happy? I mean, just like trophy hunting. I hate. I've always been anti-trophy, and I always will be. Okay, and I hate those pictures that come through and they just killed a elephant, a giraffe, or a deer, a bear, or whatever, and they're smiling with a big gun, like, "Hey, like I just hit the lottery." Really? You know what I mean? Do you really feel that? Do they really feel that good about it? And to take this innocent animal that was just living a life, to
they
share this earth, it's
they don't have any
sickening.
business. They don't have any business over there in Africa to do that. They don't have any business doing that, because I'll tell you what,
No,
it's someone from, let's say, Mozambique, and they poach an animal, they're going to prison. But yet, if you're, affluent, and usually a certain white person, and you're going over and you're doing this on private reserves and things, that's just ridiculous to me. And to me, I mean, that just screams, colonial bullshit. Frankly, I'm sorry.
that's all right.
And, okay, I don't. Oh, well, good. If that's the floodgate, here I go. Here I go.
Oh, uh-oh, here comes the F bombs. I was tuning up some other podcast on Podbean, and I heard some F
Yeah.
bombs go off and everything, and I'm like, wow, But I mean, with your own podcast, I mean, they're not going to do nothing about it. Just like if you're on AM, FM, they will, but not the podcast. So don't worry about it.
And
But
there, I'm not talking about local. If people need to put food on their table, I'm not talking about indigenous rights. But it's just dispelling these things. Like, well, we give the meat to the village. I'm pretty sure that people in Mozambique know how to do that for themselves. They don't need you to go and do it. And just getting at that, like, dominion over animals, and that is the tiny minority. I don't want to live next to those people. I don't. And I'm glad this is where you can stay positive. I'm glad I'm not those people. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that mindset in your life,
yeah.
seeking male validation by killing animals? Absolutely not. And I'm so grateful that I was raised right. And that sounds mean, but I mean, they must be miserable, because why nobody with any
Yeah,
nobody
I
with
know. It's like get a real life, get a real life. That I remember I had up in Ohio. I had a friend. Her husband we had a picture of a deer with, decapitated in the back of his truck, and I had said something. I said, "Why is that so good to take a picture like that? Take pictures with your pets and your wife and your kids." You know what I'm saying? And it just disgusted me.
Yeah.
And they got pretty upset about it, but I don't care. I let them know,
Yeah. Well,
that I don't like that picture. Okay.
and I don't want to bring up serial killers because your last name is Dahmer.
Yeah, but that where Wisconsin, that's where he was from.
I
And
know.
he
I know.
was sick. He was sick, he was a sick, and he was an animal abuser. Okay, so maybe if he would have got busted
That's
in what
exactly
he was doing, he wouldn't went any farther,
right.
right?
That's what he did. All that, it was torturing. Just trying to watch my words. Torturing these animals and doing, and his dad's like, "Oh, great, you're into taxidermy." And it's like, what? And it is, it is sociopathic. I mean, that is the
Oh
incentive.
yeah, yep. And,
And
I'm a good Dahmer there, Melissa. I'm not a bad Dahmer. I'm a good Dahmer. you know, and they always get asked, "Are you related to Jeffrey?" I said, "No,
yeah, now I'm not good. Now I'm not,
it's
yeah.
not happening." I'm a
At least
good
your name,
Dahmer. I have to tell
your last name's not Wernus in Florida, so I think you're okay.
them. That's it.
It really is.
I tell them, like, I haven't been suspended on Facebook yet, until further notice, but I've
That's
been
cool.
doing good so far, so good. Okay, Facebook, leave me alone. But they keep me. They see my last name. They keep me on the radar. See what I'm up to.
You should watch that Netflix one, and then when you testify in front of these commissions, you can just mock it, and maybe you can steer them into great.
Yeah, I look at it
Yeah,
and said, "Whoa!" And if I'm at the doctor's office, you know how they yell your name out. What's the last name? And then I say it, and they all look at me like, "Wow, whoa!"
so even if I ever a ticket or something at the fair, well, that's
Yep,
we're kidding. Humor is what I use to stay resilient, but truthfully, those incidents with wild animals, right? They are not logged as opposed to domestic animals, even to farm animals, some farm animals. The
yep,
FBI keeps track of that because if that is happening, they know, like, okay, let's put this person. I'm probably on the watch list too. Who knows? But let's keep an eye because we know that's the number one predictor for domestic violence too, and for murder, and believe it or not, for murder of pregnant women. It's the if all of those men have abused animals almost exclusively. But if we don't think wildlife can be treated cruelly, now look at all the people that we're missing. Even if you hate animals, which is insane, but if you do hate animals,
exactly.
don't do you want these folks living next door to your children? And I'm not saying that
No,
all trophy hunters are doing that, but if that's like you guys remember Cecil the lion, right?
yes, definitely. Yep, it
Okay.
was sad, wasn't it? I mean, there's some of these horrific stories. It's like, come on,
Well,
and got worldwide attention too. Yeah, yep,
Walter Palmer lives up here in our neck of the woods. He lives, right on the line of Wisconsin and Minnesota. He's the dentist. Well, he also had 5 sexual harassment complaints. He also coached 2 bears in Wisconsin prior to this and ran with them, like not just like, oh, I did it, like tried to run from the wardens. So it's always, when you have these incidents like this, it's like, why are we not holding these folks accountable? Because maybe that lion wouldn't have gone. You know what I mean? I truly mean that. So that's what I do. I look up all these guys and I'm like, gotcha.
yeah. I mean, it's good to know. I mean, to educate yourself and to know what's really going on, and the ones out there, the animal abusers. I can't believe how many animal abusers are out there. It is sickening. It's
It really,
overwhelming. The stories. It's nonstop. It's like a revolving door. And then you see them getting slapped on the wrist or probation, a small fine. It's like, no,
yeah,
that animal that got killed or beat up never had a slap on the wrist. It
right.
suffered. Let's get the animals out of harm's way. It's 2026. Let's fix all the animal abuse problems in 2026. New laws for all the
And that's
paws. Yep.
Florida actually, for most of the states, um, does a decent job actually doing prosecution when there's outrage, right? Like they will, but there's still no wildlife cruelty law. But you mean the guy that threw the raccoon off the boat in the middle of the ocean, that guy, I mean, that guy, they took his boat. And I'm like, "Ooh, yes." But Pam Bondi, whether you love Pam Bondi or not, when she got a hold of that poaching case with those bears, she didn't just prosecute them. She showed the entire world what they do. She put those horrible videos out in the public at a press conference, and I was like, "All right, way to go, Pam!" And
Yep.
and that it can be unifying in that manner. I mean, you just kind of have to compartmentalize. I do. I have to, but you know, they
Mm.
know, they know they don't want to live next to these people either, and one of those I'm telling like my whole life story here, but but um one of the reasons that they don't is because of local DAs. You're most of the time we're who are we talking about? Now I was talking about Pam Bondi. But
Pim Bondi. Yeah, I think we all know her. And
yeah,
it's good that she put the, because that's the truth and reality of it. I've
yeah,
had
she did.
people, I can't look at those photos and everything of the cruelty. And I said, you know what? I can't either. I said, but you got to know the truth and reality of it. Do something. If you see those photos, do something about it. Just don't look at them and look away or complain. I can't deal with that. You
Right.
know, take your anger into action, okay? Because that's where, contact your representatives and your senators, get laws, and you could do it. You could be creator, author of a new law, and I believe they're going in session pretty soon, and
Yeah.
there's some laws out there, everyone. So, get on congress.gov and open up a free account. This is a federal. I know that one I just shared the other day, HR 1661 is the Safe Act about horse slaughter, and it's got already 223 co-sponsors, but we need a lot more for a floor vote because there's a total of 435, across the United States, and the Senate side only has four co-sponsors. So we don't want to see this fail again, Melissa.
Right.
It has to pass, okay? Because year after year, decade after decade, it shouldn't be that long. Let's get it together and move it and get them passed because that's where the victories come in, and that's where the animals' lives and futures are getting better. And they can't thank us, but we know when the lives start changing for the better, getting out of harm's way. So, come follow me. And I got some, call your representatives, get to know them, email them, call them up, write them letters, set them an appointment. And this is a nationwide number. If you don't have, your representative or senator's phone number, and that's area code 202-224-3121. Okay. And they'll ask, give you your zip code, and then ask to speak to your state representative or your senator. Okay, and then you could talk. This is in business hours, after hours, and weekends. Leave a voicemail. Write them emails because Melissa, I see so many people putting all these comments on social media. It's like take them comments and contact your state representative, or that they represent us, and let
That's
your
right.
voice really be heard. Because Facebook is not going to change no laws. They don't tend to, and they never will. So you can comment and argue all you want to, but it's not going to be happening. You go to the big
Yeah.
dogs and make the
And
lawmakers. Yep.
I'll circle back to in that because I didn't finish that part, but that isn't for everyone, and that's okay. There are
Right.
the artists. They're the artists. That is a form of protest. Getting on social media and sharing things.
Yep.
I mean, we didn't know half of what I did without social media because that's where
Uh,
these guys killing contests organize. So
yep.
you know it's not that, but stay off of theirs because listen, let them keep posting it because they're their own worst enemy. They're
Yep.
their own worst enemies. So
That's
let's
right.
when they go
That's
down, when they
right.
go, and we don't know. So, but the you can write a letter to the editor. It's 200 words. You can hear how much that the host and myself talk. So how we write 1,000 and have to try to take it down to 200. But
Yep.
simple facts. Politicians, and I'm telling you, every single one, senators, they have staff that particularly go through that section. That's the first thing that politicians go through is the letters to the editor to see what are my constituents thinking. Right now, it feels like none of them listen. Probably not now, probably before. But if you can, get together like right now, let's see, one, two, three. Okay, we've got six people up on the panel. If we called and said, "Hey," and we all lived in the same district, "Hey, we would like to set up a meeting over Zoom for us to talk to you." You're not probably going to get the actual, you're not going to get your actual rep, but I'll tell you what, those legal aids, everything does get to them. It really does. And those are also the future politicians, so that doesn't hurt. But in the comfort of your home, you can do that. I like to go in person just because I like seeing you. But building, and also building relationships. One of the
Right.
things really works well is write a handwritten. I don't know. You guys are all mad that they're going to stop teaching cursive in schools. So here, use your cursive skills. Okay. But get a stationery and a card and say, "Hey, this is what I think. I want." Your politician will get that directly. They really like that because they can hold it up and do what they're doing. But there are ways to get to them. Now, that being said, it is very difficult. Well, so your horse that you were just talking about, there is the Wild Horse and Burrow Act. Why
Yes.
do they want these horses off the land? So that they can exploit it. And that provides protection to the habitat of where, well, and the rangelands where these horses are. Now they're like, oh, they tear up everything. Well, okay. Do you know how many cows we have out on public lands that are, they've been here and have been here a very long time, since the 1600s. So those wild mustangs, yes. Do I think we have to be careful that they're not starving or all of that through droughts? Yes. Do I think that they should do the roundups? I haven't decided that for myself yet. I don't have enough information, but that's not why they're doing that. It's not for meat. It's not for help. It is because they want them off the landscape, and that is true here in Wisconsin. Who is doing this? Is Big Timber. So like Americans for Prosperity, ALEC, Heritage. I mean, it's written in Project 2025. I'm not trying to get political. I'm just stating to get wolves off the landscape. Why? Because they want to, Trump wrote an order to do a huge timber harvest. But then you have to do an impact study to see what endangered species are going to be hurt. Same in Florida with the manatees who got delisted prematurely. It was ridiculous. Big Sugar doesn't want to have any regulations. If manatees are not protected, they don't have to do the impact studies that they normally would have to. And right now we're seeing there's some things that the administration is seemingly looks good for animals, and I hope that it does work for a lot of animals in laboratories and those things, but they are destroying the Endangered Species Act. The Endangered Species Act is the most popular law we've ever had in this country, and the most effective law we've ever had in this country. It works. And so they are reducing down. So now, they put up, I think, 400,000 people commented on the Federal Register, which is amazing. It's a provision in there about harm. So Deb, if I came to your house and I burnt it down and I ate all your food, which I probably would do even in not this scenario, but did all this,
don't don't burn the house down, all right? Please, and eat all the food.
well, but let's say I did that and I did it to all your neighbors too, and then at your whole town, and I left, but I didn't do it directly to you. I didn't set you on fire. That's what the Trump administration is saying, that harm has to be done directly to that animal. But I would say I might have harmed somebody if I burned their city down. And it's those kind of cuts they are going after. I mean, these are bedrock environmental laws. They're effective and everybody likes. That's another one. That's 90% of the public. Doesn't matter what party you're in. Support the Endangered Species Act. But yet, here we go again. And so a lot of this is, special interest, and it feels overwhelming. I feel overwhelmed by it all, where I'm like, oh, how do you beat them? Because I've beat them before, and you can beat them, but maybe.
Right. Hey,
No, you
no, but hey, you got to make some noise. That's how you get it changed around. Change don't happen overnight. You got to make some noise,
yeah.
right?
And so, yeah, if you're nosy like I am and don't sleep like I do, then you could, look up things like that. You can go to opensecrets.org and see, okay, who's donating to each candidate. So, and know your enemy. And I know that sounds weird, but like, then you can talk to people that particularly maybe not animals are there. Sounds like that it is for this country, but maybe animals. And I understand that too. Like, why do you care about animals when such and such and such is happening? Why do I care? Because we all have the same enemy. That's why I care. So if we're talking about children's education, it's the same, same kind of process in the background of money and politics. And, obviously I can't outspend them. Um, I can't even throw $5 at a politician. Kidding, but citizen lobbying is the only thing that's ever worked. Nothing else is going to work. There's the courts, sure, but changing that public sentiment, and you know, just Martin Luther King Day was just the other day, and you know, his wife and son are huge. That is what they focus on, is animal rights. They're both vegan, because they feel that that was the next step that MLK Jr. would have taken. Not necessarily, and I really like. I've had one conversation with her, and I said, I don't think animals are above me, and I don't think they're below me. I think we're just all trying to get through this, you know, and not,
Right, you know.
why is difficult.
Yep.
So I think there's ways that you can talk to other folks that maybe don't particularly like animals, and say, but listen, here's what happens if these wolves are delisted. You're gonna, or eminent domain comes in because they've delisted. You don't have any more trees. You don't have any more clean water. I mean, the Endangered Species Act absolutely protects people too, in every single
Yep.
case. And if you
That's
can
right.
talk, folks, and that in being interesting too. And I know I'm throwing out a lot of polling numbers, but I think there's people are like, well, and myself included, where I'm like, like like the host, I'm like, oh, these rednecks. But is you don't necessarily have to talk to them, but you have to know. You have to tell your politician. Actually, you know what? We share the same values when it comes to the Endangered Species Act. Rural people and urban people agree equally. And where else can you find that? Where else can you find that literally everyone agrees on something? But yet, here we go. We have them, destroying the act. So um, I think maybe I'll pause there for you.
No, you're doing. Hey, you're doing good. A lot of info, great info that you're bringing out. Opening a lot of stuff I don't know. And I learn from these podcasts.
I guess
So
this is
they're
my
very
this is my
educational and everything. People take, like Mama Cat in the chat room taking notes. Hey, that's a good thing, or check their website and your Facebook page too,
you have to
follow,
look pictures.
like, and then that's the, on your Facebook page, it's Great Lakes Wildlife Alliance, right? That's another one. And keep on the update. You're on TikTok also, right? And YouTube. I went and checked out a little bit of your YouTube. um, I got two YouTube channels over there. I haven't really had time to promote them, but they are on there, and I got to take some time because you're looking at. I got these websites, and I got, I try not to get myself, overwhelmed with all this stuff because you got to think about your personal life. You got to take breaks. You got to things to do,
What's a personal
and
life like?
yeah,
What's a person?
what's your person? Well,
Everyone,
right now in Wisconsin, it's cold up there, right?
oh,
It's
it's
like
only -40. It's only -40. Don't worry about it.
minus what? 40?
40. Yeah.
Did you say? Oh my goodness!
Remember when I said I hated you earlier today?
Wow.
Weather like, and you're like,
Oh.
it's. I'm like, I hate you, Deb. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, I'm you. Guess what? I'm on live stream on Podbean podcast app from the patio. Deb is on the web, and I'm
You are.
bragging again. And I just got zapped this week because it went down to 40. It was
Oh,
karma hitting me, and a couple weeks ago I was sitting on the patio, so I'm gonna get hit again. It's gonna be a triple karma because I just bragged again. But it
well,
got cold. Yeah, I'm down to 40 degrees. Yep.
yeah,
Thank
for
you,
Deb.
Lisa Mike. Follow the
That's what.
host. Yeah, follow me, everyone. Spread the word. And if you want, I'm going to be taking calls here in a minute, Melissa. You ready? You ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, well,
But
Deb.
welcome to the chat room, Lisa Mike. And keep spreading the word because the more of us out there, the stronger we become.
Unless it's
So
40 degrees below for Deb, and she's like, oh my god, bless her.
Oh, hey, you heard about the iguanas falling from the trees? The
No,
last time there was one in the front of the house in the bush, found 'em. I didn't know what it was at first, like 4 feet long, and so put a big couple blankets over it, that night. and because they look dead. I mean, that's the way they look. They go like in a coma when it's cold. And so the next morning, got up and I moved the branches around, let the sun hit them, and I was taking pictures of him. And all of a sudden, he blinked, and that gave me a signal he was alive. Kind of moved. And in the next picture I took, he jumped out, down, and it scared me to death. And I was like, okay, he's on the roll now. He's walking. But he was big, four about, I don't know, 3 to 4 feet long. So, but you hear about dropping out of the trees, and it's happening. So
Yeah.
they got to
And
keep warm. I
doesn't
was
matter if
looking
it's
for him again this week, but he didn't come back. He didn't
well,
come
yeah.
back.
I mean, he didn't think that was like oh, let's have make forts in the living room. Probably wasn't thinking.
Two big blankets on the bush.
No,
Yep, but kept him warm. Once that sun
but
hit him, man, he was moving. Yep.
that these guys. So just to wrap up with killing contests, and I can talk about wolves and whatever you want, but these killing contests, okay, there is
Oh,
no,
I
no
hate them. I hate that's hunting. I mean,
right.
trophy hunting. It's terrible.
It's not even trophy hunting. It's if you're out there trying to get the smallest young, I mean, there are prizes for, and they use dogs here. They use traps. Anything you can do. Thermal imaging at night. Long range wet rifles. These animals have not adapted to these tools. They haven't. It's just completely not fair chase. First of all, like you know, but but it is. And I'm not going to share the pictures. I'm not going to get too graphic either. But this is something we can win. I truly believe that if people know about it, and I think we have to balance between showing the pictures. But I mean, you're talking about in one day people going out and killing 60 coyotes for sport and for prize money.
Mm,
Now, and that it's heartbreaking in some ways because coyotes mate for life. They mourn, they feel, all the things. They're dogs, but they do this with crows, rabbits. They have a raccoon roundup, which is my favorite animal. So that one really upset me. Um, it's all these species. In Wisconsin, you only have to have an $18 license. That's it. And we uh, to do that in that mindset too. But I went through and at first I'm like, oh my gosh, I found 77. Oh my gosh, I'm at 173 contests like this. Oh my
hundreds.
god, now
Whoa.
I'm at 6. Now the 400 is they have a statewide competition, and I don't know if that means every county, so I put those in. But what? And these are our animals. You guys. These are our animals too. They don't belong to them. They belong
Right.
to everybody. When it comes, and that's just called the public trust. That wildlife are held in the trust for all of us, for any legitimate means. The problem is that the government doesn't recognize ours, like intrinsic. I want to know that wolves are out on the landscape. I live in Madison, Wisconsin. There aren't any here. I want to know there's grizzlies. I want to know there's manatees. I want to know that Deb's hair drying a iguana on the front bush with, and eating.
Hair blow dried it.
Yeah, but truly, these are our animals, and but a lot of the states only recognize. And I'll tell you, and and they say that it's based on science. That's they would go there, but that's politicized down. Here's what they did in Florida. They had actually said it this time, so I was proud of them. They said, "Yeah, our hunt isn't science based. We're not using science." At least they said it this time. I mean, they just said we're catering to who pays us. So, I mean, there's a lot of solutions there. But I'm going to shut up so that we're not here till 1 morning. But
Hey, we
um,
we could be here till 1 in the morning. Hey, but we're gonna take some calls here. If anybody wants any comments or questions for Melissa Smith, you're more than welcome to come on air. Just try to refrain from any noises in the background, TVs, radios, conversations, and you're more than welcome to come on board. And if you're on a phone or iPad, tablet, or laptop, on the lower right hand corner, you'll see a phone icon or a mic icon. Press that, and it alerts me you want to come on air. Okay, and you're more than welcome. Any comments or questions for Melissa Smith, okay, from the Great Lakes Wildlife Alliance? And so glad to have you, Melissa. This is wonderful. And keep pressing that like button. And I want to give a shout out. I was listening to his show today, Facts Porcupine Podcast. Reg, welcome in here. And you know what he did? He was giving the Voices Carry for Animals podcast a big shout out today and asking his audience to come on over here. That is teamwork. So if he's got some great shows, everyone. And if you're on the Podbean podcast app, go and follow him on it's called the Facts Porcupine Podcast. And every time that he starts a show, you'll get alerted on you get a notification on your phone, your laptop, your tablet, your iPad. Just click it, and then you're in the chat room, in his chat room. A great show today again, there, Reg. Keep it up. Your great voice, you rock, buddy. If you want to come on air, you're more than welcome to. Press that. You know about that. That icon, iPhone icon or mic icon. Press that. Alert me. You want to come on air. Love to hear your voice. And we'll be listening to you more, okay? Because you got some facts out there. Good shows. Keep it up. But anyway, or you said you're washing the dishes. I'm going to listen. Thank you. Hey, you're so welcome. And yeah, and I appreciate you too. Okay. And thanks for them shout out today. I mean, I was like, wow, check this out, telling his listeners and stuff. I believe in teamwork all the way, so please follow him and check him out, because there's a lot of shows on this Podbean podcast app, and the web. So check them out, follow them, and you'll get alerted, on your phones. I think I get my own alerts notifications on my iPad and my phone because I'm hooked up with them. And this is modern technology at its best. Melissa, how you got in from the email invitation, right? Did I say
Yeah,
you, or
yeah,
did you come in the other way?
if you need to figure out the pod thing being, call me, not Deb.
Hey, you did it. I seen you coming in, and first I got your text. I was like, whoa, there she is. I'll get you in one way or another. That's what I tell all my guests and the callers, because
Really,
some of them would say, oh, no, I'm not learning that Podbean. No way. That is too much for me. And then all of a sudden I see him coming in the chat room. Or, yeah.
like, what am I doing?
Yep.
But yeah, and these podcasts are valuable. I mean, I listen to yours, and I'm like, and I always
Thank
have.
you.
But
Thank you so much. And come in anytime in this chat room. And I tell all my former guests and all the come in anytime, multitask, help other animals out. Because that's when we double over in strength and quadruple, you know?
you're my you're my palate cleanse. What I do is I go
When,
to a lot of the oppositions podcasts to see, like, what are these guys up to, and some of them are really hard. And I come over here and I just do appreciate your positivity because I'm not always that person, and I really appreciate that you stay that way, and I think that's great. But I'm not. Well, I mean, kind of. Sometimes I want you to be like, God damn it.
yep.
Yeah,
And, hey, but you're
that's
doing great. I mean, you're out there and your voice is being heard. You got it going on. You got your website going. You're taking care of business. You're taking action. That's the key, right? And keep it up. And like I said, come in these chat rooms, hook it up, and speak on air. The more, the better. The
I
more.
think
Hey, Megan
porcupine.
Mason's in here. Hey, Megan, how you doing? We'll give her a shout out. She entered the live studio. That's another animal warrior sister. And Michelle's listening in. Hey, Michelle, I appreciate all of you. But Megan, if you want to speak on air, you can. And Michelle, you also. Go ahead. And Mama Cat, where's that Mama Cat? She's a former guest. That's why I call her Mama Cat because she takes care of like 90 colony cats out there in Colorado. Hold on. Oh, put that through again, please, because I just missed it. I turned my head, and then who sent the invitation in? Bring her back on because Lisa
Colorado's
Mike,
very.
go ahead. Lisa Mike, go ahead and send me another one because it went so these things go so fast. But yep. Hey, Michelle, you can come in. Go ahead. It's
She's
no
what I
problem at all.
Jill, are you playing a tambourine or something?
A tambourine. I don't know, but I have a problem because I used to be able to put, these logos and stuff in there, and but I think Podbean had some maintenance on the 19th, so I got to get a hold of them to let them know, so because I could put it in, like logos and different things. So I'll find out, so. But anybody wants to talk to Melissa, go right ahead. Press that, and Lisa, Mike, go ahead and press that phone icon or mic icon again and alert me you come on air. Yep, go ahead. You're coming in, Mama Cat, and you can share this show right in here. Keep pressing that like button, and everyone that builds up this podcast. Going on a year next February the 20th, being on Podbean Podcast was on 10.5 years on Blog Talk Radio. So when they closed down last January, then I got in high gear and got this one together. I wasn't going to close down Voices Carry for Animals, so and I'm going strong. So I wish I would have found this one years ago, Melissa. Because it shoots out all over the place. Get the word out there. I mean, you're talking about 28 podcast platforms, and two websites, or I'm sorry, two YouTube channels after it gets published. But I'm going to keep it up. So, so hey, Megan, welcome aboard. Yeah, I love to see you guys in here.
Knocking,
It
knock,
keeps. Hey, there
knock.
she is. There's that mama cat.
Mama
Yeah, she was on
cat.
last week, Melissa. Well, and
Oh, great.
yeah, she was on there for Community Cats United, and they're nationwide. But go ahead, mama cat, and tell George how's George doing. How's the hubby?
He's doing pretty good.
All right,
He's
he's
trying to psych
listening.
it. Yep, he's trying to psych himself up for the next. He goes back in again for his next cancer treatment, the 26th. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Okay, that's what Monday.
yeah.
Yeah, but hey George, wishing you luck and a lot of prayers. Okay, keep positive. Stay positive and keep me informed. And Melissa, thanks for the flowers. That is awesome. Thank you. And this is going live, everyone. Live stream. Hey, Melissa, how do you spell live?
I didn't know how to spell live, so when I tell you, like, and I was like, okay, she's probably dialing in from AOL to get on this Podbean, so everybody just.
We had some good laughs. Yeah, because I told her it was. I go, if you can't get through this way, you go press the live icon on Podbean Podcast, right? And I go LIVE, right? But go ahead, Mama Cat. We always, you know. But
Oh yeah,
George, wishing you the best.
we
Keep me
gotta
informed,
have a
Mama
little
Cat.
bit of we gotta have a little bit of fun on here too, you know.
Yes, we do. We got to have a sense of humor, because that it kind of breaks monotony, right? If you think
Otherwise, we'd
about it,
all have a nervous breakdown probably.
that's it. And I don't want to have that happen, right?
Gosh, no. I'm sorry to hear about your husband. He'll be in my thoughts. Hopefully, I hope he's doing well. Thanks, Melissa. Hey, I wanted to know what part of Wisconsin are you in? I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm in
Oh,
San
okay.
Francisco, the Midwest, basically.
But
Yeah, I've been.
that's
I was born and raised out there, Hilbert area, right out of Green Bay.
Oh, okay, okay. By Sheboygan.
Yep. Well, yeah. Actually, Lake Winnebago, if you know where that is.
Sure do, because yeah, I do. Well, there's another species we could talk about is lake sturgeon, but and how horrible that is, though. But yeah, I know exactly what. So you're on the right side of the lake going up from Fond du Lac, then.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. My
And
mom still lives out there. My two brothers still live out there. I came to Colorado for a 2 week vacation like 46 years ago.
never
That
went
was,
home.
no, no.
46 years. Wow. How cold is it there now, Mama Cat?
Well, here it was
Mhm.
52 was the high today, but it's supposed to get cold tonight.
Oh
But my
Yep,
yeah.
a lot.
brother lives way up north in Wisconsin, and he said that it was 46 below
Yep.
with the wind chill. And I told him, yeah, well, you probably better just stay in the house today, brother.
Wow. That's snow women. It's like snowman, snow women. So just stay in your igloos and stay warm.
Yeah,
Right?
Oh my God.
he
My
didn't
Yep.
dog and I
even
have,
have any snow on the ground.
Mm.
we have a lot of snow.
He
It's
didn't
been
have any
snowing.
snow. It'd been cold, cold though.
I know.
Whoa.
Well, just think
Oh
about
my.
just how amazing wild animals are and that they can survive this. Isn't that just
I
Ugh.
know. Isn't it amazing or what? I
like a
mean,
little?
you.
How does it do it?
They
Mm.
don't all make it, you know that.
Well, of course, but still, it's like
You know.
it's just amazing to me. Yeah, there's this is neat, maybe trivia for you ever. Skunks, possums, and raccoons will all sleep together during the winter when it's cold like this. They'll put aside their differences. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Really will. And
Wow.
if there's only one tree hole, they're like, all right, come on in. I guess like try not to like spray us, I suppose, but like I guess you can cuddle with us. Isn't that just
Wow. That is amazing.
yeah,
They put
my,
their differences aside.
my raccoons sleep in the houses with the feral cats. They don't
yeah,
seem to mind at all.
Wow. Isn't that something? I
yeah.
mean, that's amazing.
But let those raccoons try and take their food. Oh no, it's a whole different conversation there.
Well, if you were
Yep.
God's favorite animal, you would do the same thing.
Yeah, I feed them separate.
I love
I mean,
raccoons.
I don't feed them at all. No.
It's best that you know. But that's the other thing. Like, think about how much we don't know about the animals just in our own backyards. I mean, there's so much to learn. We're always learning something, but owls are always up to something. We're always learning something new. Those owls are always like, oh, God, look what else they can do. This is ridiculous.
Yep.
But there's so much there that the answer to any sort of conflict is death. And I mean, have we not got past that? Like,
No.
you're mad about a 20-pound raccoon, and that's the only thing you can think of. And in
Yeah.
Wisconsin, you're not allowed to relocate them. That's a death sentence anyway. But um, just so many people are so fearful. And then there is motivation behind that. That a lot of the hunting groups and things want to keep the public fearful of wild animals so that they can maintain that same uh, you know
Hatred towards them. Yeah.
not even hatred, but so that they can come in and be the heroes. And that's why they're able to get past that 81% of the people that don't hunt or that don't approve of bear hunting in Florida.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, but we got to keep fighting. I know that with these bear hunts down here, they need to be stopped. That this year was so sad just having them. They say 52. I don't believe that. I believe it's more than that.
I can't,
And
I can't believe
it's
Cubs weren't
sad.
out. Cubs
It's
That's
weren't
so
getting
just
off.
the number they're
injustice.
telling you. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And it's like, hey, all lives matter, including all the animals, every one of them. Give them the rights to live and live in comfort and peace and freedom. How hard is it? But when
Well,
you look,
and
whoa,
they're tagging them as nuisance animals,
Right.
and the only nuisance is the people that moved into their backyards.
Yeah.
I
yep,
mean,
Yeah.
that's
if you
right.
really think about it, they didn't bother anybody till you built your damn house right next to their den. You know,
Yep,
Right.
that's right.
Well, and the effective ways for to do. I mean, there are bears who are naughty. I mean, I don't want a bear to come rampaging through my house. I really don't because I want my lasagna.
no,
I can get it. But there are effective ways of doing things. But the first knee jerk reaction is kill it. And the agencies because it's cheaper. And so for wolf delisting, for example, and I know Amaket, if you're in Colorado, that's very contentious.
oh yeah,
It is well, we need to delist them to manage them. They already manage them, and they use non-lethal, and we're not getting a big spike. But what they want to do is just they don't want to spend the money because non-lethal does cost money, but not over time. So over time, then you have these other wolves learning, oh, this is not good. They are terrified of things that are new. Terrified. So a friend of mine that is up in the UP worked for Wildlife Services, and he found out. It was the carcasses. The farmers. It's -40, you guys. You're not going to be out there being like, I guess I'll bury this cow that accidentally died. You know what I feel like you're not going to be out there. So the carcasses sit, and it brings in the wolves. All he did was put an electric wire around them. They got zapped a couple times, never came back. I mean, sometimes
Well,
it's really but the big bad wolf, and everybody's scared, and you have politicians using that to just to win votes, which is crazy. But anyway, I'm sorry
well,
about that.
my philosophy on the wolves is stop bringing them here. If you're gonna, okay, they're on the endangered species list. So then we bring a whole bunch of them to the state. They're not even from here. They're not native, the kind that were native for here. They're bringing them in from Canada and Mexico, releasing them in our
Not,
state. Then they breed, they get more and more and more, and then they open up, take them off the list and open up hunting right away. Well, is that the whole reason you brought the damn things back? So that people can go out and slaughter them again? That's ridiculous.
yeah, and it's a lot of money invested. But I do want to start to kind of dispel that myth. The wolves in Canada are the same Rocky Mountain wolves. I mean, they've done all of the genetics on there. But yeah, I mean, there are some problems with Colorado Parks and Wildlife that they're we've been. Why are we bending to that side? And even if you're talking about, wolves, killed a calf. What are the benefits that wolf gave us too? Like, what about the deer and elk that do a ton of damage because there's way too many? I mean, we have to think about that in those terms. But, um, taking wolves and putting them in a strange place, I understand, and it's like that moral objective, and that's probably why, and they think so, is why they're having problems with the introduction. But the other problem is they sat on the Wyoming and Colorado line, and as soon as wolves would cross, they would shoot them on the line. So I don't really think there is a realistic way for them to get there because of exactly what you said. I mean, Idaho's policies. I mean, there's barely any wolves left in Idaho. They're shooting them from helicopters, any method you want, and a tag is $25. But Idaho also pays a bounty. What is this? 1865? What are
Well,
you
and
talking
that
about?
a lot of
Yeah,
that's with the big egg too, because they don't want them
exactly.
coming in and slaughtering off the ranchers' cows and whatever, because then they can't sell them at slaughter.
Well, and what else is they don't want, again, on the landscape, because then they're doing environmental impact studies. If we had to get put somewhere and they said you can only take down deer or calves with your teeth, and we're only 70 pounds, and they're 1,200 pounds, but they're dumb. Cows are dumb, and I hate to say
Yeah,
that, but
they're
comparatively,
dumb. Yeah,
they're dumb. But we've not just bred them to be dumb, they haven't had that exposure. But once they have about, they say, 1 to 2 generations of exposure to predators on the landscape. But the thing that's weird is you got grizzly bears, you have black bears, you have cougars, you have coyotes. So you weren't doing anything about them. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it is, wolves are very efficient predators, and when they kill something, it's not pretty. It's just not. But they also feed all the other wild animals. So I'll send Deb a video about that. They're only beneficial, and
well,
you were going to eat a cow anyway. Like,
look at the
so,
study through Yellowstone. They
right,
took the
right,
wolves out of Yellowstone and the ecosystem went to hell. They
yeah,
brought them
yeah,
back and everything's balancing out like it should be.
right,
If you leave nature alone, it has a way to figure shit out.
yeah, yeah. And there are ways, and and the other part is we are providing compensation in Wisconsin. We give 5 times the market value. 5 times the market value. So if I was a rancher, I'd be like, "Oh, great, there's some wolves." I mean, I wouldn't really, but I mean, the compensation program. It is. The other reality is we don't have a wolf rancher problem. We don't have a wolf farmer problem in Wisconsin. We have 64,000 farms in Wisconsin, and we had 18 farms affected. That doesn't mean they would killed something. Affected means they either came in too close, or, the missing calves, we pay for that. 18 out of 64,000. I think I'd be a little bit more worried about -40 degrees,
Yeah,
which is also nature,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. And they're doing the same thing with the horses out here, rounding them up because they're supposedly damaging the land for the cows and the cattle and whatever. And they don't get a lease paid for the horses, but those cattlemen pay a nice hefty leasing amount in order to use our federal lands. So they would rather
Adopt.
round up and slaughter off all the horses than, oh, we can't have the cows getting hurt or anything.
It's $1.66 an acre. $1.66 an acre per year.
Yep.
That's nothing. But I'll tell you what, some of those guys don't want it, so you could always go buy those leases if you wanted to. Hint, hint.
Well, they've got them pretty much. It's another big story with the government, of course. There's no way the average Joe Blow America can get in there and get them leases. You have to be a rancher.
Yeah.
You have to have so many cattle,
Yep.
and it's a
Yep.
99-year lease, and it's a big bunch of crap.
There are some groups that did that, like around the Grand Canyon. That actually the Bundys, who let all their
Yep.
cattle
Yep.
die out. They bought up their grazing leases and are trying to bring back bison and restore that area. But it is tricky. They're not just going to give it to you. But then you find a group of ranchers that are wildlife friendly and say, hey, we'll pay for the lease. You graze the land and do it in an environmentally sustainable way, the best that you can. But all right, I'm going to be quiet.
No, don't be quiet.
I don't know if there's
What?
questions. If a question exists if you're serious enough, don't bother. My credit's terrible.
Yep. Hey, I love this podcast. Don't you, Mama Cat? I love it. I mean, it's so much better than Blog Talk, right? I mean, Blog Talk was only on the web, and this is the app and the web. And everybody, as soon as I get this published or downloaded and edited and published, and you go back and listen to them 24/7. And there'll be a link, the same link where it's all over the promos on Facebook and X and LinkedIn. Just press it, and you can go and listen to the show at any time. So and follow me on the web also, Podbean Podcast Web Startup. Go into podbean.com and then click log in, and then the next it's up in the upper right hand corner, and then press the create account, and then you're going to need your full name or nickname, and then put your email address in, and then create a password, check that you're not a robot, and then create account, and you're in. And then you're going to follow. You're going to search Voices Carry for Animals podcast and follow. And all the former on-demand episodes is also on there, so you can listen and share. You can comment. You put some comments in there and press like and all that, and it helps build this Podbean podcast app and web up. Need all your support. I want to get up there at high rankings because I know in 2025 got top 20 in 2025 got top podcast for animal welfare on player.fm.
Yeah.
Yes, all right. And also on goodpods.com, a top 2025 podcast for animal rights. So that encourages me. That is inspiring. So I'm going to do it again in 2026. How's that? And it takes all of you to help me make it through it, make
Does
it
it work?
happen.
Does it work on
Yep.
AOL dial-up, Deb?
What's that?
I said, does it work on AOL dial-up?
Nope.
I remember that.
Yeah. Is that Aloha?
Yes.
Hi, Aloha. How are you?
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. She's in Tennessee.
No,
How's
I'm
the
in
weather
Wheeling,
there?
West. I'm in Wheeling, West Virginia.
Oh, I'm sorry. Welling. Well, I don't know why I thought Tennessee. Welling, West Virginia. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah,
Yep.
but I just prepared though for the freeze coming up. Arctic blast.
You're
next
going to be
Arctic
fine.
blast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's coming, and I'm gonna get zapped again because I was bragging about being on the
That's
patio.
what
So this will
you.
be my triple
That's
karma.
what you get.
Uh-oh. Uh, hello,
Yep.
If any,
Melissa.
hey, if anybody's weather is above 30 degrees, just block them.
Are you gonna block me now?
Oh no.
I just blocked Deb. She said it was what? I don't know what the temperature is now.
72.
Is a
Mhm.
Yep.
72. Unbelievable.
It's okay. My
Yep.
brother hung up on me today when he told me it was 41 below zero. I told him, "Oh, really? It's 73 here." It really wasn't. It wasn't. It was only 50, but he still hung up.
That's a good one. Yep.
He
That's
didn't
a
even
good
curse
one.
me that time. He just hung up.
Yep.
Remember in the movie The Shining where Jack Nicholson at the end is frozen into the snowbank? That's what I look like right now, actually.
That is a good one. Yep. Hey,
72.
Joseph, thanks for coming into the chat room and joining us. Welcome aboard. You know,
Mhm.
appreciate all of you. So yeah, hey, Reg, I'm happy about that. In fact, Porcupine Podcast, it keeps me going. I'm not going to give up. And when you hear that, it's just so uplifting and heartwarming. Because I know I'm not spinning my wheels, right?
That's
And I'm
right.
not going to. And I know with all the action takers out there and all this super team I got going on, we're not going to give up. We are relentless, proactive, and optimistic, and we keep each other going. That teamwork means a lot. Teamwork works and teamwork rocks. We're the only hope to carry on for the animals to make better lives and futures. So don't give up, everyone. And I'm going to be closing down the show in about 5 minutes, okay? So, I thought we was going to go till like 1 in the morning, but that's okay.
I got you.
And we had somebody else coming in.
That was
Uh,
getting a little chilly on your
Welcome
patio.
aboard. Yeah, because that live link that when you press that, and also listen to all the live shows, everybody, and please check out Facts Porcupine Podcast because that is a great show. Reds, you rock. Okay, and thanks again for promoting my show today on your show for to your listeners. And they're all archived, so we got to keep going. So if anybody wants to make a call, or call in, press that phone icon or mic icon. Alert me you want to come on air for Melissa if any comments or questions. And just try to stay from any noises in the background, TVs, radios, conversations, and you're more welcome to come on board.
I'm gonna do my own
So
promotional plug here too. We have two movies, we have two films we made and made them a long time ago, not that long ago, but we that are still relevant, that are on our page, including um we did a big not bad campaign. We have a lot of, like Deb said, we have a lot of information. I will say, and I'm not out here trying to do this, but it does take funds. I mean, advocacy takes funds, and
yes.
if you're able to donate, I appreciate that. Doesn't have to be large, but if you know any rich people, I'm kidding, but
Any multi-millionaires, get hold of them.
Give out your info one more time, Melissa, before
I'll,
we
yep, and
hang
it's
up.
speakforwildlife.org. And we have a lot of information. And one of our stars in our organization, I don't think I should put her name out here because she doesn't like to have that, but completed an entire thing of handouts that you could just put up at your libraries of just fact sheets, so that people are aware of how they can coexist, or maybe build a pollinator garden. Um, it, it is it, it is it is once people know, I mean, it doesn't take much. And yeah, there's the times I want to throw out those horrible videos, but what I really want is people to get as excited about animals as I do, right? That's what I want. I want them to be like, this is amazing. And it feels like when I watch a nature show now, they're like, here's a baby penguin next to its dead mother eating a plastic bag. I feel like every nature show is like that now, but we could make that better. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much action, no matter where you are. And especially places, Florida, um, Ohio, where you have a margin. So if let's say your representative won by 51% to 49%, you bet they listen to voters. And it doesn't feel like they do, but they do. So if you can be relentless, the other side is there all the time, constantly. So that's one thing that our side has not been good at. We need to show up at these wildlife commission meetings. We need to know how our decisions are made, and that is all on our website too, like how things are funded, so that when we go in, first of all, you know the game, but that we can come up with solutions. And so if you read a petition on our page, we came up with something called Nature's Nest Egg. So cute. And, we'll fund, and I know that animal people would throw in, even $5 or something. And we could change this so that we are actually managing for biodiversity and ecosystem health and predators on the landscape, because the traditionalists, basically, the people who exterminated the bison are still in power.
Yeah.
They still are. The rest of us are, mutualists, and until that balance shifts. But if we have the resources behind us, if we've done the work, gotten count, in your local community, that we can take and say, look at this. Every county doesn't like these killing contests. Here's a petition with 100,000 signatures. Here we had a coyote. Project Coyote has a great film. We had a film showing about these killing contests. We can win. We can win, and yeah, we all need to be together. But it doesn't take it could be a dedicated team of 5 or 6 people with an enormous amount of time. But uh, the biggest thing I think that you can do is just tell a friend and say, look at this. And foxes are the number one victims of these killing contests, not just
Mm,
coyotes. So yeah, it's awful. So
that's
yeah,
terrible.
plus,
It's
plus I don't I,
disgusting. It's
plus,
disgusting.
plus I don't
Yep.
like them. It's a good enough reason either. No, but
Yep.
I mean, these are our animals, and don't forget that these are our animals too, and wildlife belongs to everybody.
Yep,
Speaking of
and
wildlife,
they all matter too. And ladies, I'm going to be closing it down, okay? And it's been another great show. And Melissa, I can't thank you enough, and looking forward to having you back on, okay? Keep in contact. Come in this chat room anytime you'd like and speak on air, because the more
oh,
voices out there, everyone, the better, and the faster the changes, okay? And another great show. And thanks for all you do. You're a positive impact, and everyone just follow, check her out on the YouTube and the website and everything, because she rocks, and all of them do. All these former hosts and call all of you rock and making it happen on this show, this podcast. Can't thank all you enough, and all the listeners out there. It's just, it inspires me so much, and it lifts me up, not down, because we know we're doing something positive. We need our
yes,
voices out there. We need our actions, okay? And Reggie, thank you from Fact. He's the host from Facts Porcupine Podcast. I will be checking it out on Saturday and Sunday. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself.
calendar.
I will be there, okay? And thank you for tuning in and liking the show. Because more, and keep spreading the word. Because we're the animals, the elderly, the children's voices, and it must be heard, okay? And get it out there, because they're voiceless and helpless, defenseless and innocent. Without us, they don't have no hope to carry on. So we have to be their voices out there. I stand up for elder abuse too. Help stop elder abuse support group on Facebook. Almost got 5,000 members already. I wish it was 5,000 active members, but hey, we're going to get there. Because they need our help too. There's over 5 million elderly a year get abused, neglected, or exploited from the National Center on Elder Abuse. Tell me that's not disgusting. And it just looks like they're getting kicked to the curb, and that's a no. And we got to respect the elderly, and let them live their last years or days, happy and comfort and peace. So please join me on there too, okay? And oh, thank you, Melissa, for all them clapping and everything. That's awesome. You rock. But Reggie, I'll be joining you, and thank you for tuning in. Next time you call in, because and introduce yourself, okay? Because you got some great shows going on.
He
Reggie's got it
does.
going on, okay? But anyway, next week, tune in, everyone, to Voices Care for Animals podcast on Podbean podcast app, live stream. And my guest is going to be Wayne Pacelli, founder and president of Animal Wellness Action. Yeah, welcome him back, because he hasn't been on this new Podbean podcast app, so I'm going to have to train him, which is no big deal. And want to welcome him back. And I hope you all join us next week with him. His last show he did was on Blog Talk Radio, but I know it's going to be another great show at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Mountain, and 4 o'clock Pacific. Listen in worldwide, everyone. We're making our voices heard worldwide. I've even had guests from out of the country. Okay, Australia, UK. I mean, India. You name it. So I do it different times for them and everything. So, but thank you all so much. And God bless you too, Reggie, podcast host. I'm so glad to see you in here. And thank you, Mama Cat, all your ongoing support. And Aloha and Megan and
Thank you.
Michelle, Darla, my mother, Patricia Dahmer, a.k.a. Moose. She don't
Moo.
look like a moose, but, you know, she's a great mother, a beautiful woman inside and out, and love her support. Okay. But thank you all for listening in. And I hope you join us next week. We got a great lineup coming up. Again, I appreciate all these guests. I mean, they're amazing. They're so informative, educational, opening your eyes to a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And it's ugly out there, okay? And these animals should be treated with dignity and respect, not neglected, abused, and put to the, kicked to the curb. That's not good, okay? So, but thank you all. And like I said, next week I hope you and Melissa's her call in, and I'll be calling her and thanking her a lot, for her, and we want to always welcome her back because the more exposure, the better, everyone. And to get it out there, we don't want to fizzle out and leave because they're very important issues that need to be addressed, fixed, and get on. Okay, so all right, Mama Cat, there is. Oh, I'm so glad to see Buford in the chat room, aka
Buford is in
Photo Bomber.
the
he loves taking selfies. How about time you get here, Buford? Where you
house.
been?
He's a slow bloomer.
But anyway, another great show, and you can always go back and listen to any of them on demand episodes. 24/7, three. Press like, comment, whatever you got to do, help build this podcast up. It's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen, and it's up to all of us to do it, right, Mama Cat?
That's right.
And we can't not, more listeners and followers. Please follow me on the web, Podbean Podcast web, or the app. You know, and hope everyone has a wonderful evening and relaxing. And remember, your voices do count, okay? They do matter. So, Mama Cat, you ready?
I sure am. Put them long johns on, everybody.
That's right.
Paw in hand, united we stand against all animal neglect and cruelty across the land. Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Good night, everyone.
everyone. Hey, and remember, and that's so true. Paul in hand there, Mama Cat.
That's
United
right.
we stand, because that's what we're doing. We're standing up for them, you know, and that's what counts, right? We
We're going to
got to
get it
do it.
fixed in 26.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, there we go. And I'll be in contact with all of you, and hope you all join next week. And love your ongoing support. That means so much. Good night,
Thanks,
everyone.
Dave. Good night. Good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Mama Bear hugs, okay?
Around the room.
Yep. With our voices, the animals will be heard. With our actions, the animals will seek justice. Thank you, everyone. God bless you all. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.